Jewell Loyd, #1 overall pick, Rookie of the Year, WNBA scoring leader, 6-time All-Star, 2-time champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, more than deserving of her own Nike PE. And last year, we saw her own player exclusive on the Nike G.T Cut 3. And this year, Jewell Loyd, who is now part of the Las Vegas Aces, is back with another one. Jewell Loyd Nike G.T Cut 3. The shoe first dropped on April 4th for $190 in the United States. Pretty expensive basketball shoe when it's not a signature shoe. And GT, if you didn't know, that stands for greater than. This is the 3rd edition of the GT cuts. Now, first impressions of the shoe. Obviously, the most defining characteristic of the shoe, it is the insane design on the upper. And I love it. I really like how crazy this looks. This kind of almost graffiti aesthetic, like this painted type of look. I really like it. Now, allow me to go on a slight tangent and rant. According to Sneakers, designed in collaboration with one of her closest friends, this special GT Cut 3 is inspired by Jewell's on-court creativity and features digitally hand-painted kaleidoscope colors. Now, it mentions they designed this with one of her closest friends, so why not just mention the friend's name? Why not? Why not? Just give her credit. I don't understand who does these sneakers descriptions. They get things wrong all the time. They leave things out that just is so easy to include. The most distinct feature about the shoe, it is the design. People want to know what the inspiration is, who designed it, if it's just Nike in-house or someone else. So you mention it, but you don't mention the full story. I don't get why. And it's not like the designer wanted to be anonymous. She has the design and like post on her Instagram of this shoe, how she's like super happy to be a part of this process. But why not just put her name in the description? I don't understand. They are so lazy. Like on the recent Jordan 1 Rare Airs, one of the most obvious and significant changes is they swapped out the Nike Air on the tongue to just Nike, and in the description online, it still said a blue woven Nike Air label. Why do you care so little? Actually, you don't even have to care to like notice that mistake. Just, it feels so lazy. All that aside, I love the design, I love the colorway. That is literally the only reason I actually went for this shoe. I wasn't like thinking about reviewing a GT Cut 3 or anything, but yeah, really like the design of the shoe, really appealing. And the shape of the GT Cut 3, I think it's a decent shape. I don't like love it, I don't hate it. It is just good. But yeah, the design definitely won me over. And the materials on the shoe, it is majority like synthetic textile. Just does not feel very good, feels pretty cheap and just kind of plastic feeling to the touch. That's not very like different or new for modern day basketball shoes. Synthetic materials does tend to save a lot of weight compared to like genuine really nice leather. Now in the toe box area leading up to the tongue, you can feel like synthetic suede on top. That just feels like absolute rubbish, does not feel very good. Again, can't expect the best materials on a basketball shoe in 2025. And then you'll see stitching in different areas of the shoe, like right at the bottom of the eye stays leading to the toe. And then there's this TPU plastic layer that extends towards the mudguard area, and that says GT Cut 3, and that is used to provide a little bit more stability. And moving on the tongue, you get blue laces with this pretty unique pull tab that says GT3 on it. And then the tongue itself, it is pretty thin. There's a little bit of cushioning like in the middle, well, the meat of the tongue, but up top, very, very thin. Does not feel too good. That is one minor complaint that I have with this tongue. When I was playing, I kind of felt like the tongue was basically just getting destroyed. Like I was having my way with it, and it might as well just not really be there. So that, even if it's like just placebo, I do want like a thicker tongue just to feel a little bit more protected around that area of my feet. But the flimsiness of this, I wasn't a huge fan. And on the left side on the tongue, you see the designer's name, Jada, and the GT3 cut tongue does have this kind of asymmetrical shape to it that is supposed to like conform to your ankles and that part of your foot more easily. Now, this shoe does not come with any extra laces, just blue laces out of the box. I kind of wish they came with another set of laces or even two. For $190 for a shoe that has just bonkers colors. Yeah, another set, another choice would be nice. Maybe like graffiti style laces. That would have looked pretty cool on this shoe as well, but blue laces out of the box. Now moving on to the booty of the shoe, you see this little booty tab It says the words, "Go be great." And throughout you see a bunch of holes on the tongue as well as on the lateral and medial sides of the shoe. And that obviously is meant for ventilation. But a lot of these holes, actually it doesn't go like through, so you can't see like your fingers behind it. There's actually like another layer that kind of blocks the holes. So a little bit of air, I guess, can pass through. Now in terms of the cushioning of the shoe, the GT Cut 3 does come with full-length ZoomX foam. And the GT Cut 3 is actually the first basketball shoe to use ZoomX. And ZoomX, if you didn't know, it is, according to Nike, it is the foam that has the highest energy return out of all types of foams that they've ever come up with. And it does have a very kind of swishy and bouncy and responsive feel on feet. You feel like just very springy, and it also has like a more firmer foam that houses the ZoomX, so that gives it a bit more stability, prevents it from being like too soft. Now, even though I do like that ZoomX cushioning, the GT Cut 3 comes with this very soft like midfoot plate. It just doesn't feel very solid. It extends up into the forefoot, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't provide enough stability and support there. So this type of soft plate makes it so the shoe kind of bends a lot more easily, and every bend with a lack of support will put more pressure like on your foot. And the longer you wear it, the more aggressive you are, like pushing off when you're playing. It can really start to take a toll. And I have more to say on overall containment a bit later when I get to sizing and comfort. But yeah, this soft type of plate, I'm just not a huge fan of. It does give like the shoe more flexibility, but for basketball purposes, I do prefer like if it was carbon fiber or even like a solid TPU plate here. And in terms of the traction and outsole of this shoe, it's pretty much like herringbone traction. Works very well, no problems at all. The B-roll that you see on this video, it is in a pretty averagely maintained gym. So if the shoe doesn't have like very good traction, I can definitely feel it. No problems when I was shooting this B-roll. I played pickup in these as well at another gym, and it worked really well there. It does pick up quite a bit of dust pretty easily, so maybe wipe your shoes a few times when you're playing, but overall, this is pretty outstanding traction. If you wanted to play outdoors in these, I probably wouldn't recommend it. The rubber isn't like the thickest or strongest. It is pretty soft rubber, so it'll wear out pretty quickly. The gaps in the traction is decently wide, so you probably won't get a ton of rocks stuck in between those patterns. But as I say that, I'm looking at like the side parts that actually has pretty close grooves there. So yeah, rocks will probably get in between there. So actually, I don't recommend playing outdoors in these. And for $190, don't know why you would. Now in terms of the base of this shoe, it is actually decently wide. That increases the contact surface your shoe has with the court, so that also helps a bit with stability. Now in terms of court feel, compared to shoes that I've been playing ball in for the past year that I primarily wear, like the AE1s or the Sabrina 2s, those definitely, you can notice it pretty clearly. Those definitely sit closer to the court, like you feel closer to the ground. So the midsole from the outside, it looks pretty chunky. You sit slightly lower than what it might suggest, but still not like super low to the ground. And on the insole of the shoe, it is like glued or stitched too tightly into the shoe, so I'm not gonna rip it out. But on the design, it does say 1 of 1, player exclusive, not for resale. And the box of the shoe, see GT in the middle. On one side, says Beyond. On this side, says Own Space. And inside, nothing too special. Now in terms of sizing and fit, I am a wide and flat footer for the GT Cut 3. For the shoe, I went true to size. Initially, when I put my foot in, I was like, it's a little tight. Like lengthwise especially, it's pretty much right up to the toe box. There's not much extra room. But then I started playing in them and broke it in, started loosening up. It actually felt pretty good, like a 1-to-1 fit, like really wraps around my feet. If I had to make a recommendation, I'd stick true to size. In terms of the containment and the support of this shoe, this is where I have the biggest issue with the GT Cut 3. So I've talked about the lack of firmness and density of the plate here. I much prefer it was very stiff, more firm, just gives it more torsional rigidity, as well as reducing the way the shoe bends. But lateral containment wise, because the ZoomX is quite soft and there's no area of the shoe where it's very solid, the TPU even at the top of the toe box here, that's not like the firmest type of material. Heel counter, you don't get like a super dense and firm heel counter, and the material itself, it just feels kind of flimsy. If you're doing like very hard lateral movements, you just feel like your feet's kind of rolling around and it does not feel good. After a while, after playing like 2 hours of pickup in this shoe, my left foot, I was noticing the lateral side right over here, it was starting to swell up and it was starting to hurt. And it wasn't like a freak ankle roll or anything, just over time in those few hours, yeah, the lack of containment in the shoe and support just started taking a toll on me. And I'm a lightweight player. I'm not like 6'5", 300 pounds. I don't put that much stress on shoes in general. Overall, I think that is the biggest weakness of the shoe. Just a lack of overall containment, support, and lockdown. And the overall weight of the shoe coming in at around 12 ounces. That's actually on the lighter side of all basketball shoes that I've reviewed recently. So yeah, definitely no issues with the weight of the shoe. Now in terms of just overall comfort, if you're considering wearing the GT Cut 3 like casually, ZoomX foam feels really good. It is a very comfortable shoe. You don't feel like you're dragging something heavy like a foam positive around. So if you want to wear this casually, I definitely recommend it. So overall final verdict of the Jewell Loyd GT Cut 3. I think there's some really nice features about this shoe, like the ZoomX cushioning. I think that feels great, like under feet, feels bouncy, feels responsive, you feel springy, but the lack of overall containment and support, yeah. I won't say it's a deal breaker, but it's close. It's a shame because the ZoomX foam, I like. The traction, I love. The lightweight nature of the shoe, I love too. The colorway of the shoe, I love also. But yeah, just one pretty significant flaw that I think will prevent me from putting this shoe anywhere close to my favorite right now, the Sabrina 2s. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Jewell Loyd GT Cut 3. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes